Now just over a week away, and the race for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky is apparently incredibly close. The latest WKYT Lexington Herald-Leader Bluegrass poll shows it a statistical tie. Sam Youngman is a political writer at the Lexington Herald-Leader. He's covered the race between Republican leader Mitch McConnell and Democratic challenger Allison Lundergan-Grimes from wire to wire. And Sam, this one appears to be going down to the wire. It's good to see you.
That's exactly right. It's good to be with you. No, we're starting to sound like a broken record here, but it's a dead heat, and it looks like it's going to stay that way down to the end.
The finding is a 1-point advantage for McConnell.
That's right. It's 44% to 43%, which what we see when we look at the data of this poll is no huge gains for Senator McConnell. What we're seeing is Allison Lundergan-Grimes losing support. In the last poll we did just 10 days ago, we showed 46% for Grimes and then 44% for McConnell. So in that time, what we've seen is the huge snafu over Secretary Grimes refusing to say if she voted for President Obama, and we've seen some consternation among her base over an ad she ran on immigration. It's too difficult to tell if that's what's causing this change. It could very well be that it's just a statistical tie, and we're seeing some noise in the data.
Interestingly, in looking into those numbers, we found that, and you mentioned her declining to say she voted for President Obama a couple of times at least, she shows a drop in support among African-American voters.
That's exactly right. Right now she's at 60% among African-American voters. That was at 80% just 10 days ago. Now, because we're talking about such a small sample in these polls, it's difficult to say if that actually represents a huge swing within the African-American community, but it does certainly seem like there's some movement there.
Are there changes in geographic leads, or is there a gender gap at this point?
Well, what's fascinating to me is there is no gender gap. In fact, this poll shows Senator McConnell with a 1-point lead among women, which is just, 10 months ago would have been unthinkable considering how much of a central facet of Grimes' campaign strategy reaching women has been. What we did see in this poll was not a whole lot of changes in in the regional breakdown, except for in north central Kentucky, which of course includes Lexington. We saw Secretary Grimes losing 7 points just in this region. Now in the other regions, it was about the same. So it's difficult to say, is that happening in Lexington? Is it happening in northern Kentucky? I guess we'll have to wait and find out.
We've seen some different results in other polling. Rasmussen last week had McConnell up by 8. There have been some other internal polls that we've all had a glance at that indicate that McConnell is up. Grimes' campaign continuing to say it is very tight in their polling. Is this literally going to come down to who gets their vote out on Election Day?
I think that's the case. I mean, it's the oldest cliche in politics is to say it's all going to come down to turnout, but I think that's absolutely the case here. Both sides are talking about they have these vaunted turnout programs. Republicans are saying they learned the lessons from 2012 when they underestimated what the electorate was going to look like. And of course, Mark Mellman, who is Grimes' pollster and one of the best regarded pollsters in the country, has said from the beginning he sees a different electorate than what other polls have shown.
This poll also looked at President Obama's approval, and once again it's very low in Kentucky.
It is. The president continues to be very unpopular here. He's coming in at around 30% favorable. I think we've identified his floor at about 29% here. But when you look at that, and then another question we polled was, who do Kentuckians want in control of the Senate? And by a narrow margin, 47% to 42%, they prefer Republicans to be in control. You add those things together, and it makes for a very tough political environment for Secretary Grimes.
Overall on this poll, the margin of error is about
4%, 3.9%.
You've covered a lot of races from different perspectives.
More than I'd like to remember.
And many of those from Washington, and you flew around the country, including the 2012 presidential race. How is this one different from those?
Well, in a lot of ways, it's not. In fact, this race has felt throughout like almost a continuation of the 2012 race. The issues have been the same. Some of the characters have even been the same. And in fact, I think it's fair to say that Minority Leader, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell would like for this to be a replay of 2012 because Mitt Romney did so well here. Look, this is similar to, in my mind, to what we saw in 2006 when President Bush's negatives were so high and Republicans all around the country were really struggling to build a firewall to maintain Senate control. Democrats, of course, that year retook the upper chamber and the lower chamber, winning the House in what President Bush referred to as a thumping.
I know that maybe a lot of the folks out there watching want to get back to their grocery ads and the holiday ads and all
Me
of
too.
that coming up. And as I say, and reporters certainly have fatigue over this, but do these candidates, do they want this race to be over, or do they want more time to make their case?
I think it depends on what their daily tracking polls show. When they're down, they want the race to keep going, and when they're up, they want it to end right there. Look, I think they're both exhausted. I think they're both, they're feeling a lot of what voters are, which is it's been a long year. year and a half. You know, these races get longer and longer. You know, it's modern politics is that it's a never-ending campaign.
There will be one more bluegrass poll.
One more bluegrass poll the day before Halloween, so it'll be scary for one of the candidates.
All right. Sam Youngman from the Lexington Herald-Leader, thank you for coming in. Appreciate
it's great to be with you, Bill.
Much.